Alright, here we go. Y'all want to hear a heartwarming story? Hey, it's Christmas time. It's time of spending time with your family, your loved ones, racking up debt on credit cards for your Christmas presents for your kids, acting like you're rich for a while, you know, right? Time for a heartwarming story. Today I'm going to give you a heartwarming story. The best I can. I'm not the greatest narrator or speaker in the world. But here, it's a story about a guitar, and you're watching this for a reason because you like guitars. And hopefully you like me just a little bit. In my nasal-ass Northern Ohio voice. This guitar I've had for about a month. I love it. Because I built it back in 2011, and I just got it back. Here's the story about this damn thing. Back in 2011, this is my second Warmoth I built. My first Warmoth I built was for my neighbor whose son passed away. That's the first time I ordered something from Warmoth. I put that guitar together. I was like getting specs from him. He didn't realize I was building it for him. His son passed away right after he was born. And he was going to name his son Stratton. And because the man loves Strats. So, Fender guys. And but I built that guitar, and it was just beautiful. He loved it. Long story short. Neither of them are with us anymore. But so I was like, okay, I'm going to build my own guitar for something that I want to remember. And I built this guitar in memory of my dad. Now, I was raised by my mom. Now, this is no daddy issue story. I give my mom full credit. I love that woman dearly. I have the utmost respect for that woman in this world. She raised me and my brother by herself. But there was this mystery about my dad, who was a great musician, very talented human being. I think of whatever he did artistically was excellent. So my mom had this little Kodak projector. Had like these little like slides that you put in there. Me and my brother would sneak my mom's room every once in a while, digging drawers and crap, just looking for money or something, whatever. And we come across that, and I always remember looking at a picture of my dad holding a blue Stratocaster. Now, I didn't play guitar back then. I started playing when I was about 28 years old. I'm 43 now. I've started and stopped playing, but I always remembered what that guitar looked like. And when I started playing guitar, I was like, oh, he was holding a Stratocaster. There was no doubt in my mind. I knew that. And I remembered that. So came my turn. I was like, I'm going to build something in memory of somebody I didn't know much about, but I knew I got a lot of artistic interest, not necessarily talent, but a lot of interest about, music and stuff. And that was my little thing I was going to build in memory. He passed away when I was in Iraq, so whatever. So I go to build this guitar. I pretty much found everything on Warmoth Showcase. It was a Daphne blue body. It's chambered ash, so it's definitely different. It had the standard thin profile neck, Dunlop stainless steel 6105 frets. It was the vintage amber tint. Now, it was like really, really yellow, and it still really is. It was sort of goofy looking when I got. I was like, dang, Warmoth, you made that thing like almost orange. Whatever. Never drilled the holes for a back cover. American 2-point trim. It was DiMarzio Area 58 in the neck and middle, and originally I had put a DiMarzio Area 61 in the bridge. Later on, I had taken off that boring white pick guard and put on this tortoiseshell and put in my DiMarzio Air Norton S, and I was like, oh man, I'm keeping that thing. The jack plate I had used had this little mini switch from my other guitar that I wasn't using, and I didn't actually have it hooked up. It was just a little mini switch. I don't know if you can see that. So it was sort of, a goofy place for one, but it worked. Lock and tuners, whole 9 yards. I put that Warmoth decal on there and the little modern string tree. So, there's a lot of guitars that look just like that, but I knew this, the look of this guitar. So this is the end of 2011 I built this. Guitar played great. I installed a new nut in it. It had the white XL test nut in it at first. I didn't really care for it. I put the black one in there, and it was stable as hell after that. And 2013 rolls around. End up getting divorced, and you need to sell stuff. I didn't want to part with this guitar, but hell, you need to eat. I had to sell everything, whatever. I sold all guitar stuff. So I go down to Guitar Center on a Saturday. This is before I really knew anything about eBay. Way before Reverb. And if you're familiar with Guitar Center, you go down there, you don't get shit for anything. I think I spent just a hair over $1,100 building this guitar, which Warmoth's value for what you get is always excellent. So, it was, for what it was. What I get at Guitar Center is like $350. And I had brought another Warmoth guitar down there that I had built at the time. I had 3 that I had built within a very short period of time. So I brought those 2 down there. The other one was a black, like a Jackson Soloist kind of guitar body. And so the next Saturday, I go back down to sell some more stuff because I know I was going to need money. And she was ringing. Same sales lady was there that rung this up for trade-in price. And so she's ringing up my other stuff I brought down. And I go back to the acoustic room just to play around with acoustic guitars, and I'm waiting for her to figure out the prices. And then there comes this dude, like, he's a white guy, shaved head. That's like the only thing I remember of him, so whatever. He comes in, like, and she's right next to him into the acoustic room, and he's, like, sort of fumbling to start talking, and I just look at him, and I was like, you bought my guitar, didn't you? Because this one was already gone. The black one was still there. Excuse me, I didn't tell that part. This guitar was already sold when I walked in the Guitar Center that second Saturday. The black one's still there. This one was gone. I was like, shit, that went fast. So, anyways, I'm looking at this guy. I'm like, you bought my guitar, didn't you? He's like, man, he rambles on for 5 minutes of how much he loves this guitar. He's like, I've been looking for a Strat for 2-3 months, buying stuff, bringing it back. And he's like, I finally found it, man. He's like, I love this thing. It plays great. Sounds great. I'll never change anything on it. I'm like, and I told him the backstory of it, and, you know, I was very happy to not only see somebody excited about a guitar that I built, or assembled, whatever you want to call it, from Warmoth, but how good it played, and I was happy I knew somebody was going to enjoy it. That to me was a big deal. So I was happy it was going in good hands. And he gave me his business card, because I told him I had one more Warmoth. He's like, look, I have some extra cash. He's like, you know, if you think about selling that third one, I wasn't sure yet if I was going to. He's like, here's my number, call me. So I think it's maybe 2 months later, maybe. Not even that, probably a month later. I called him, he's like, ma'am, he's like, I would love to have bought your other Warmoth. He's like, my daughter got in a car accident, and he's like, I don't have any extra cash right now. Looking back on the story, he had to have returned this guitar to Guitar Center to get his money back. Okay, so he's buyer number one. Okay. I always looked for this guitar endlessly on eBay. When Reverb became popular, I always looked on YouTube. Always scrolled and scrolled and scrolled and scrolled on YouTube looking for this guitar. And this is 2 years ago. I'm scrolling and I'm scrolling. I think I have a little thing on my phone recording. I'll try to like interject it in this. I just never scrolled far enough. I see the little screen pic of the little, whatever you call it, thumbnail of a guy holding a guitar just like this. And I knew instantaneously that was my guitar. His name was Juan Fernando, I believe. I'll see if I can throw a little screen clip in there for my phone or something, whatever, if this makes sense. And I'm like, oh my God. I was like, hey, that's my guitar, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I named off all the specs for it. He's like, yep. Because you couldn't see much. He was just, you know, he just played. It was like a minute-long video. He's just playing. And he's like, yeah, that's yours. Everything, blah, blah, blah. He's like, there's no doubt in my mind that's your guitar. He's like, yeah. He's like, I don't have it anymore, though. I was like, oh, man, come on. He's like, and I live in Colombia, South America. I was like, what? I was like, how'd it end up down there? He's like, well, my band was playing up in Atlanta in that time. He's like, I remember going to that Marietta Guitar Center. You can read the comments on this. I'm not quoting it verbatim. But I did have some other conversation with him in the email, too. He's like, yeah, my band was up there. He's like, that's when I bought it. It was right that June, July timeframe, 2013. He's like, it's definitely your guitar, man. He's like I said, he's like, but I don't have it. I had to sell it when I needed money. He's like, but it was a fantastic guitar. I love it. And this guitar is in music videos for down in Colombia, like professional music videos. I thought this is fucking cool. And it just keeps on getting cooler, this story. He's like, but I sold it to my music student. Now, keep in mind, this is the third guy now, including myself, who has sold it because they need money. There's a little trend with this guitar, right? So he's like, yeah, but I sold it to my music student. His name's Daniel Pumarejo. Let me get you his information. And he didn't respond back to emails, Daniel, at first. I found his YouTube channel. I think I might have a little interjection of him playing that in some my screen recording on my phone or something. I get a hold of Daniel, comment on one of his videos. I was like, hey, man, that's my guitar. I was like, you know, I hope you enjoy it. A little backstory, whatever. And I was like, if you ever want to get rid of it, I'll buy it back from you. And he lives in Colombia, South America as well, too. So, I'm going to get to the end of the story here. About 3 months ago, Daniel commented, I think, on one of my videos or one of those. I commented on his. He's like, hey, Mario, I'm coming back to the United States for a few months. He's like, I'm selling pretty much all my guitar stuff. You want your guitar back? Hell yeah. I was in the middle of selling my tube amps and my entire pedal board, everything. So timing-wise, it worked out perfect. That Eric Clapton Strat that I had just bought it like a really good price, like $11.99. It was brand new. And I flipped that thing real quick. Just broke even on it. I think I made like $63 or something. But I was like, yeah, totally. So we talked back and forth about him getting like a reverb account here or whatever. Long story short, I just sent him money on through Walmart. You know, people are like, "Oh, dude, you're stupid." Like, I had a lot of trust in Daniel. He came to me. We came to an agreement in Instagram talking about stuff about what I'd pay him for the guitar, what it's actually worth, for him paying for it to be considered luggage on the plane, and shipping it down here. So we came to a solid agreement on price. And Daniel, thank you. If I haven't said it enough, it means a lot to me that you did this. So I felt bad. Daniel's going to be up in Flushing, Queens, and so he had to take like a 50-minute subway ride to go to Walmart. They wouldn't let him get the money because it wasn't a permanent resident, even though I called, and all he needed was his international passport and the reference number if you know anything about sending money through Walmart. They wouldn't let him have it, so we ended up getting it done through a Western Union. Daniel was working 7 days a week up here. It took him about a week and a half to mail it. Mailed it through UPS and got here in one piece, and I've been enjoying it ever since, to say the least. This guitar, when I traded it in Guitar Center, was virtually still new. I'm very easy on guitars. I mean, there wasn't no scratches on it. When I got this guitar back, my God, the amount of pride that, or should I say pride, I guess. Yeah, no, I'll use the amount of pride that I had in building this guitar, knowing that somebody played it that damn much to wear the pickup covers off on the corners into the fretboard, and just the amount of rust. And this guitar was played on cruise ships, played by those two professional musicians. I feel honored to get it back, and I feel sort of bad at the same time. But it makes me very happy knowing that those two guys loved the hell out of this guitar and just played it. And all the thanks in the world goes out to Daniel Pumarejo for going above and beyond, coming back to the United States. He's going to be here for several months, and getting this guitar back to me because he realized how much it meant to me. So, with that being said, once again, thank you, Daniel. I'm going to interject some tones here. Probably do some clips of some nasty stuff here, but I'm going to do that separately. I got to take care of some stuff. I'll come back and do some little quick recording. How'd the guitar hold up? Damn good, I'll put it that way, for 10 years of being abused. Very mild wear in the frets. These stainless steel, I was always curious if stainless steel frets would, ever show like any little divoting. It's very mild, but you can see it, and I was like, oh, cool. Guitar still plays great. I set it up to how I like it. Pickups still sound great. I may put my custom shop 69s in here. I'm thinking about it. Because that Jimmy Vaughn Strat over here is like on its last leg. The bridge and everything's like toast on it. Yeah. So I may just put them in there, see if I like it. Keep the same pickguard and stuff. But I really do like these pickups. There's a reason I put them in there first. But it's sort of weird to have something that you built 10 years ago and you're like, oh, sounds great. And then you come back and you're like, well, your ears are a little bit more tuned to other pickups and, stuff that I bought, Klein pickups and Mojo tones and custom shop stuff. And you come back to these and you're like, okay, well, yeah, they're good, but they are still very good, and they're a lot more output than my vintage style single coil pickups. Hey, little bear.
It's 13 minutes.
Okay, just give me a few minutes, okay, ma'am? Okay. All right, just be quiet here. Just got another minute. Stay by the little heater. My little bear down there. So yeah, the pickups still sound great. Let's get the little tone clips here, and just wanted to give you a little heartwarming Christmas story about getting something back. And if you're watching this video and if you've ever sold a guitar and got it back, I'd love to see that in the comments. I think it's pretty damn cool. This is a really cool story. I'm still sort of in awe that I had this guitar back. And it's pretty funny. Like, Daniel had a lot of fabric softener on his clothes. Still smell like the Snuggle fresh, man. Sort of weird, but that's how much you play a guitar. Your fabric softener like scent is ingrained in the guitar, Daniel. Don't worry, I'm not in love with you. I'm just saying I can smell it. Yes, ma'am. Okay, give me 1 second. All right, so we're going to wrap this video up, get a little one in here, and then we'll do some separate recording, some tones, make them real quick. But I love this guitar, and thank you for watching. Peace. Neck is still very bold and clear. That's my pressured patch setting. I love that patch. It's big, just very super duper clean kind of thing. Let's go to some nastier crap. So we just noodling as always, because that's what I do. Let's go to that fried tweed. So, big and nasty on that bridge. And I've been working on this plexi patch. I'm not one to, well, okay, I'll openly admit this. I've never really played Marshalls. I played one, which was actually a better version of Marshall, Dramino, lead 35 over my buddy Brian's house. I had that pedal pond fuzz. It was a 61 ES335 custom shop guitar into that pedal pond fuzz, something else into that Dramino, and it changed my fucking life. I wanted to come home, and I started searching for Dramino amps, and I had to talk myself out of it. I'm like, dude, just stop. But it was life-changing. But I'll openly admit, I don't know how to dial in Marshall tones because I just was not familiar with them. So I started messing around with this plexi patch the other day. And knowing me, I ended up putting a whole bunch of delay and reverb on it, but I'm gonna keep on working on this patch and maybe make a video on it, admitting that I don't know how to do Marshall stuff. And I like this patch a lot. In this guitar, I started setting it up with this. These noiseless pickups have actually a nice top end on them, and these have a little more ass to them than like regular single coils, so they tend to push this particular amplifier a bit. So, still in love with this guitar. I might swap those pickups out. I don't know. We'll see. These are really doing the trick, and the little one's over here getting pretty antsy, so I get nervous playing in front of my kids and stuff, too. Right, baby?
What?
He said, what? We're going to wrap this up. Quick tones. Hope you enjoyed the story. Y'all have a great day.